Actually, I want to talk about one specific staging that they have. This one right here. Fucking rules, right? Because they're not actually rules. They're rules that don't apply to everyone. And if someone misinterprets them in a different kind of way, they're ignored. So the first one right there says, if you fill it, if you empty it, fill it. It's talking about storages and everything. But what it really is referring to. It should be referring to. I mean, if you think the rules are there just, if you need a fucking rule to fill this up, like you're an NPC essentially. If you need a rule to fill that up, right? So I don't see that thing there as like fill up the storage space. I see it more like, if you're emptying someone's emotional energy and wasting my time specifically, if you're wasting my time and emptying my storage, for emotional, call it whatever the fuck you want. If you're emptying that shit, your spoon. If you're emptying the spoon, fill the spoon back up. They are not doing that. To me, filling that spoon up means alone time, a fucking amount of alone time, and not actually even like the cash. Like I can figure out the cash and financial portion. It's the fucking alone time, from people like them. So they are not fulfilling that right there. Here's a great one. Here's another one. If you open it, close it. They're talking about another fucking, storage container. And they're doing such a great job with it. I open it, they close it. They don't even buy this for themselves. So this has been here for 4 days now. We'll see how long it takes. And that's specifically why I bit off an edge, essentially. Because I wanted to see, I'll eat it, I'll play along, but the rest is on you. And see who it's really for. So if you open it, close it, that's kind of what it's talking about. And actually, that's not even a rule they follow themselves very well, because a lot of the time, I'll notice packages like these open, and I'm the one who kind of has to kind of close them. Or, shared, a great example would be a shared drink. You don't want to, one of those orange soda things I drink, you should be drinking, one of those big things that we would share in the past, that I find addictive. They would not close those properly. I'd always be the one kind of like making that extra effort, to just tighten it and, not like tight, but this is enough to seal out the air. They wouldn't do that. They just kind of slap on the cap and pretend it held on. I mean, literally, that's what they do. They do the Band-Aid fix. This is the kind of shit they do. That's the kind of shit they do. They cover it with a bandage, out of sight, out of mind. So that's what they do. And I guess if you want to talk about the refrigerator, if they empty the refrigerator, fill it, that's part of that too. But anyways, more directly, if you open it, close it. I'm going to point to this Roomba now, because what we're talking about here is not just opening a jar and closing it. We're also talking about opening a channel. So this here is what I see. And this to me, as I've explained, is done on purpose. It's done to piss me off. It's done to whatever. I don't know what the fuck they do this for. Because honestly, it's not hard to do this, right? You understand. I made it toddler proof. I think a toddler would eventually get the idea of how to line this up. But anyways, what they are doing is they're opening. The Roomba is here doing its job. The Roomba is not here to piss you off. It's literally just, it's trying to do the job it was designed for, a machine. And I mean, thank God it's not an animal, right? So that's what they do. The machine's there doing its neutral job. And I've been very, very explicit, calmly, right? Like I'm doing right now in a very calm voice, very angrily. I've written notes, and I actually have, that's not the Roomba's original location. This thing has been everywhere. This thing Yeah, see, that's what it is. They used to be right there where that plant is exactly right there. And they that they were doing the same shit. And I figured, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna make it inconvenient for you, and I'm gonna shove it all the way, right here. So, where I put my junk, essentially, my stuff. So, well, to me it is junk because I kind of want to sell it, and what I mean, it's a lot. So I put it there, and I thought, well, it's farther away. It's at a weird angle because I put it like in a really weird slot. I made it almost hidden. And this space actually used to be way more closed off right here. I don't place the boxes like these. You already know who does the box placement. This piano was even used as a battle zone at one point. But anyways, that's where the Roomba was, and not even they. I know it's a he, but I don't. It's like I don't even want to acknowledge that. So they would put it there in the same exact manner. Which is pretty fucked up because I thought they need to do the extra effort. It's in a weird spot. They would make the effort to literally say F you with their behavior. So that's what I mean. I've been very explicit. It annoys me. It makes me very uncomfortable. I like vulnerable, right? I've been vulnerable with that, and rather than being like, yeah, this annoys them, you shouldn't do that again, they actually do kind of do that sometimes. They kind of like, oh, we went too far. Because there's this one time where they literally busted into the restroom while I was masturbating, and they were like, obviously, they were like, I wasn't even that pissed off. And, I was just ready to, it actually is on video, not the full thing, but definitely a good chunk of it on Instagram. But the reason it came out to this, because no one tells the other person, your privacy is your privacy, right? It's the fucking fact we're talking about is already weird in a sense, but I'm going to share it anyways because these people need to be exposed for who they really are. And so what happened is that, about the story. You're in there for a while. You're doing your own business for a while. That's no one's thing. But, it's not business to go out screaming to the entire household. So anyways, I'm there for a while. It's just not a fun environment. You want to stay away from environment like this as much as possible, sometimes even more than usual. And, well, they bust in and they're like, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I'm out there being like, whoa, what the fuck do you do? This is sexual, abuse right here. And that's the thing too. On the neglect, I pointed out, and I said, when you guys were like younger parents, and I was a kid, maybe not knowing how to take your kid to the hospital was like, it's already weird on its own, but it was at least, oh well, they didn't know any better. And the thing is, they didn't know any better is a very, very big key word for them. They just don't want to get in trouble. And that's the whole key thing. And that's the paradox of this book right here. This book is designed to make people feel guilty and like they're always in trouble. That's how they do it. They guilt you and shame you into control. And if that doesn't work, they're going to starve you out. And that's what I mean, because these things here, they're not actually food gifts. Think about this. I've been filming this for, I don't even know how long now, and because that's what it is. This isn't actually about, are we feeding them the correct amount? This is more like, oh, look, we made the grand big gesture. You should be grateful. That's what this is. That's what it is. I don't listen to them anymore, but I'm not even going to let them. I'm not even going to let that thought in. But anyways, that's what that is right here. The Roomba is neutral. I close the channel, right? Like this is closing the channel essentially. But neutralizing it, because now the Roomba is going to do its neutral job again. And that's how it was. Honestly, that's how it was. The last time I had to fucking flip it over was like a month ago or a few weeks ago or whatever. I don't even know, I remember, because I haven't done it in a while, because they haven't done that random shit in a while. You know what I mean? I've been very clear about it. They're really just not worth, like when they're dead, honestly, I will probably be relieved and glad. We will not miss them. I know that for a fact. So, because that's what they always do. They're like, oh, you're going to miss us when you're going to cry, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not it. That's not it. I already did the crying. I already did the missing. That happened now, because that's what happens. The parents get, erased or GTFO'd, or I don't know, whatever you want to call it. They cease to exist on this planet. And what happens is, what they say is true, but only for very specific people. Example, these people, if their parents cry, they will cry because they're going to be like, oh, how would I explain it? Basically what it is how do I explain it down? It's the attachment thing, the, what's it called? The bad attachment thing. I don't even know. But generally it's like, it's kind of like Stockholm syndrome, like would the victim, right, the hostage, be sad that their captor took them? That's what that really is about, because essentially you're born into this house, you get manipulated a certain way, and if you don't, you don't dig yourself out of it, then yeah, that's the mindset you go down with age with them, like, oh, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So understanding where that comes from is probably the biggest step to avoid, and not even avoid, just to not let that happen. Because really, what you're doing is you're mourning a death of a person, right? And in a sense, you've already done that, because you grow up, and a certain way, you're like not even that they're being heroic, but even the tiniest thing. Because like for me, it was like, okay, you know what? Small little collision, like I could get this repaired and everything, but it's not even a test, because we're not like trying to get insurance claims or anything on purpose, right? But it's kind of like a test, like, okay, small little thing, how are you going to handle it? Are you going to let me handle it as much as I can on my own, self-autonomy, or are you going to be like pestering me? Because that's exactly what they did. They pestered me to the point to where, like, you know what, fuck it. Like, even though I literally have the footage, and I still will, instead of like, let me handle this on my own, let me get this done in a day or two, it turned into like, and then, that's exactly why we're in this situation, because it turned into like, okay, well, you know what? Like, these people are not being very supportive to me right now in a time where I really would like support. Like, I want to see how this plays on. Let me drag it a little bit. I dragged it a little bit, and it really turns out that these people don't give a single fuck. Because, like I said, I've got debt. They know I have the debt. They've literally have opened up the mail, my private mail from credit card companies. They have literally pasted it here along with a check. They have invited random fucking ass strangers from their religious place to walk around this house. You've seen the videos, right? They set up their camp there. They do their whole ritual circle thing. So you got these people here. And the idea isn't, I don't know what their fucking idea, but the idea is to stage my, they're trying to make themselves look good by making me look bad, essentially, and what they perceive to be bad. Because that's the whole idea. Like I said, they're based on shame and control. That's what they're all about. So that was the idea behind them putting something up here. Let's shame this person into complying. That's what this is all about. Shaming through compliance. True compliance. That's what this is all about. So that's the fucking Roomba is about. So I'm closing the channel, and I said that's what they do. The Roomba is a neutral worker, and they choose to reopen, an escalation path every single time. Well, let's go back to the dirty it. You clean it. Okay. You can tell I have a lot of shit on my mind. That's dirty. That's dirty. That follows me everywhere. Whether I am in this building, actually, it doesn't follow me everywhere, but generally, I have to leave what one considers to be the resting place. You know what I mean? Like, you consider this building a house, a home, right? Which is actually, home is not a word, like I've said previously, that I did not even learn in Spanish. I know what a house is, right? Casa. But home, hogar, is a non-existent word. Literally, I had to I knew what the word was, but just the connection of what that is, you got to teach yourself what that actually is. And it's not a word I definitely used myself at all in speaking this language, which I don't even like to speak at all. So that's it right there. They are dirty in my mind. I've said these are unwanted, uncomfortable thoughts, and I'm not saying clean it. I'm not even saying go pay for my therapy or something. I'm not even saying anything like that, even though they should probably be doing that, right? And I'm saying stop communicating, interacting with me. Stop dirtying my mind. You're contaminating my thoughts. That's literally why I'm wearing, noise canceling headphones, pretty much all the time. Yeah, I don't know when they're gonna come back, so I'm just literally wearing them. They come back, boom, quick scroll, instantly blocked. So that's why that's there. It's more comfortable, I guess, at this point. Unfortunately, I'm kind of doing the same thing socially outside. Not that I'm really walking much outside anyways to begin with. So anyways, that's what you have right here. Dirty thoughts, no cleaning. Spill it, you wipe it up. And really, what it's saying right there, if you spill it, you wipe it up. It's talking about if you fuck up a situation, you wipe it up. You fucked up with a Roomba, fix it. The person's I'm telling you, you're fucking up as a parent, fix it. So that's really what it is. Because that's what, if you dirty it, clean it, it's kind of expected. Spill it, wipe it up. That's more of an accident, right? You don't spill things usually on purpose. It's an accident. Well, that's what they call it, an accident. A little bit different from cleaning. Dirtying it and cleaning it's a little more on the maintenance side, and it's the same deal. You got to clean the mind. They're not cleaning my mind. I don't want them to clean my mind. They make no attempt at it, though. That's what the parent is supposed to do, supposedly. Kid cries, new world, new feeling, whatever. Work it through, clean the mind. That's what that is. They definitely did not do that. I definitely do not want that now. Wipe it up, spill it. They're not cleaning their messes, right? If you cook it, share it. And that's actually a very specific one, because cooking is talking about a meal. I don't know, shared resource or not, but at the end of the day, it's kind of implying if you cook something, share it. Okay. Cooking is an action, a physical action. It's time, right? It's saying if you spend time doing something, share it. This one I actually disagree with entirely. If you cook it, share it makes absolutely no sense. Right there, that's the key one. Essentially, it's skipping the whole process of reciprocation. It's saying, be the kitchen wife, be the household wife. Your job is literally just to cook and share. It's not even saying cook if they're being nice to you, cook if they're giving you food or whatever. If someone gives you something, give them something back. It's not even saying that. So this right here is really, essentially it's the a CVC code, household version of that. So that's what that is. These aren't actually rules. These are rules to ethical people who actually follow rules morally. These people are not doing any of that. They're literally making the table dirty. To me, this is a cluttered, dirty table, unwanted thoughts. So they are not doing any of that. We're not going to escalate. We're just going to document. Because at this key point, it's just documentation. Not for entertainment, for documentation, right? Reasons. But fortunately, we've got YouTube now, so it's not just documentation. It's actually a way out. So I record a lot for a very specific reason because, well, that's how I'm gonna get the fuck out. You know, you get enough subscribers, you get your channel monetized and everything, you start earning real cash. And considering you already have another channel, it stacks up. It would stack up very, very nicely. We're not trying to buy a Lamborghini. We're literally trying to get the basics of having stable food. Because I don't trust these people. I definitely don't trust the government. I don't trust the California government either. It's too conservative. It's going to flip. Trust me. It's going to flip to Republican. Because the fact is, you got that dude, the governor, leaving. You've got no one to fill in the seat. And, well, this state is filled with Democrats, right? Not really Republicans. But that's the hilarious thing. The whole reason it votes Democrat every time is also going to be the reason why, if no one can get their shit together, why the Republicans will actually win California, right? So, which I like even less. Vote third party, vote socialist. That's the way to go. So, where am I going with this? So yeah, that's why I make the content, because this is my ticket out. I could do other stuff because I was watching a video from a Palestinian man in Gaza, right? And it said, well, not Gaza, the West Bank, where all the legal settlers are. And he came up with this, quote, and I'm like, yeah, I totally see what he's talking about. And I mean, literally, they're there. And they've lived there forever, right? Generations. It's their land. The Palestinian land's not the occupied people, the other people, the others. Yeah, let's call them that, the others. Right, so then you got the settlers from the other people and the illegal settlers. And, and he was talking about if I go from this hill, and I go to the next one, they follow me, It doesn't matter if I move from one hillside to another, they follow me. They do the whole intimidation thing. They're trying to run them out of their whole thing. But the key thing that struck me is that they follow me. They don't stop. They keep coming. They have the authority figure on their back, right? They literally have, the genocidal, quote unquote, Israeli government behind their back, right? If they move, well, literally, it's like having your own fucking private soldier hanging, playing as security guard. Have you seen the videos? And, they're going around. So, there's not really much the Palestinian people can do other than move to another hill or something. But, that's kind of not working out well. These people need help. And, but the key thing that struck me is they follow us, and it's impossible to work. It's impossible to go to school. It's impossible to, you know what I mean? It's impossible to, practically enjoy life or live life in a way that's productive. Productivity, exactly. It's impossible to be productive when you have fucking people following you around. And that's why they leave these fucking stages right here. Because that's what they're doing. They can't follow me around 24/7. So they set themselves up in a manner where the environment I'm in has because they're right there, they're right there, they're right there, they're right there, they're right there. So that's kind of what I mean. They're right there. They don't take accountability of their actions, so they're still there. Um, they were there. I took the pictures down because, why the fuck would I want to see their fucking face in a huge portrait every single day, right? I actually, I took every. Actually, here's what happened. I took every single picture down in this house. Every single picture down in this house, and it stayed like that for a while, and that was okay for a while. And then they started putting their pictures back up. They put all their pictures back up. They were okay, and here's what I mean. The pictures are still right there. So essentially, they were okay with the idea of being, in their mind, better, superior, because that's the whole thing they do. Like, oh, calm down, because that's what they do. They start talking like this, calm down, calm down. So you know what I mean? They start using that voice. They start making you feel like you're an infant. They infantilize you. So what happened is I took the pictures down, and some of them are crumpled up. I'll go into that in a second. And after that, they were kind of just there, hanging out. And I took my own single shots, right? There literally were like practically no pictures of me at all, anyways, to begin with. But the very, very few pictures I had of myself, I removed. I removed theirs too. But the gall is that they put their own pictures back. They're like, we're okay existing in this house and showing that we exist in this house, even if it means that you don't exist. So that's what these pictures are here for and about. That they're okay with the idea of me not existing. And that's kind of what I mean. That's kind of how it's fucked up. You cook it, you share it. Oh, let's go back to this fucking idea, because I wasn't finished with it. Cooking isn't just a meal. It's saying if you put effort into a creation, share it. At surface level, that might sound good, but this is how it translates into this household. Growing up, you're told, oh, you're going to inherit the house. The whole religious junk they feed you, all that. And, that you kind of play along, and you play along into it because, like, what other fucking choice do you have, right? That's the norm. And it's like, you're going to inherit this house. Oh, why am I going to, I don't want to go to church. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to hit you if you don't go. Literally, they would threaten me for not wanting to go to the fucking church. So that's already fucked up. But that's kind of the key thing. Oh, why am I going to work with you on a Saturday when you say I don't help you? Oh, it's your responsibility. So, that's what I mean. They've got the excuse for everything. They've got a slave labor excuse for everything. But let's be honest. There is a partial truth to it's not just the slave labor. It's in their own fucking twisted mind. They think they were teaching some kind of like life lesson. That was always the key thing. Oh, we didn't want you to be alone. Life lesson. But the thing is that these people are fucking, like loners in reality. They're using their kids as emotional, leverage. They're essentially using all these rules to their own advantage. Using and abusing their kids, exploiting their kids, essentially. It ain't exactly Jeffrey's Island or whatever his name is, but it is kind of like that. It's an island type effect. It's not. Hopefully there's no like secret dungeon here or something, right? But it follows the general same pathway. It's not extreme. These people are not extremely intelligent, so they're not going to follow the extremes of anything. And actually, that's not even a correlation, now that I think about intelligence, and that's more of a morality thing. But yeah, so yeah, that's who these people are. We get out. That's gonna be it, and it's not even that hard, because I already said food is the biggest thing. You got food, you can pretty much anchor yourself anywhere. Extreme scenario, homelessness, right? You got food, water is a given. Water, don't drink recycled water for sure, but water is, they're everywhere. In a really, really bad case scenario, you could go somewhere, you go to any random household, bust a sprinkler, and drink water. Essentially what I want to get to the point. You don't do that because we have parks, we have beaches, we have recreational areas, we have public spaces that already supply you with water. So finding drinking water isn't actually an issue, I would say, for most people watching this video, unless you live like out in the desert and that's kind of a different scenario. But yeah, that's the food situation. You have enough money for yourself for food. Essentially, you can camp out anywhere as long as you don't get caught. So that's the basics of living. And that value here, I've talked about, and a $5 Trader Joe meal isn't going to cut it, right? But two of them might. I've talked about how it's closer to around the $10 to $15 range. Yeah, 10 to 15. 15 is what I said. $10 for food, and $5 for moving around, because cars ain't cheap. Miles per not miles per, dollars per mile, right? An operating cost. So, but for the most part, if you're in a decent area, which we are, if we were literally in Cardiff, I wouldn't even need a car at all. I would literally be able to live on just $10 a day. So that's kind of my key thing. It's not really that difficult when you think about it. If you're in a parental household, don't run away. That's like your worst move, running away, because you're just running away from your own thoughts. That's number one. You're not. I'm not saying that to satisfy them. I'm saying it's for your own. Actually, it might be for some of you. It might be a better option, right? I'm not even kidding. If it's like a trap, because that's something me too. If I feel like I'm trapped, and that's where the bad thoughts come in. So definitely run away if if that becomes a last resort type situation. But if you don't need to run away, I would say avoid it. Instead, understand the system that you're in. Understand the misbalance of the rule books that's being applied. You understand the system, you can avoid it. And thank God we have the phrasing figuratively, right? That we have noise canceling headphones. We have technology now. We have the internet now, and now you can literally talk to strangers who are probably better people than your parents, right? On the internet. So, right. Don't talk to strangers from the 90s, right? Remember that quote? So there's ways around that now. I make YouTube content. You can make your own content. You could do the same thing. You can make your own YouTube content. Actually, I would even recommend that. If you are in a similar situation, apparently people really like watching this stuff. In the sense that, I don't know, it's growing faster than I thought. Make content. We should be normalizing exposing bad parenting. That's how you do it. Literally, if everyone my age, talking people and millennials and Gen Z, if you guys also started doing this, we would be in a society essentially to where all the parents are always, we're still gonna have a shitty ass government, but at least we would have a society where, independent of the government, they'd be trying to individually, you would get your fair share. You know what I mean? Like, if you're watching YouTube and you're my age, chances are that you don't own the house. You're very tight on rent. Your parents are probably still alive. And that's the key thing. They can still be, just how they guilted us and shamed us, we can have that exact opposite effect. And we should. And that's how we balance things out, because we put the stress back on them. They put the stress back on, Boomer, right? If they're still alive. And if they're not alive, then it goes to the next authority figure, the government. So that is literally the reason why we should all be trying to not like we're stressing out people out of stressing out. No, we're giving them the taste of their own medicine back. That's one. And if they experience something without, like, hey, you know what? You're right. I fucked up. If they're still being, if you're a MAGA person at this point, and the whole Jesus thing didn't work on you, the AI Trump Jesus didn't work on you, and you know someone who is still like a MAGA supporter, if you're still one of those people, then at this point it's like, don't even try it. These people are a waste of your time and effort. Because I'll explain why the whole Jesus AI Trump thing. If that doesn't work, because that's what these people are. They literally, I call this idol worship, but that's what they are. They've got their signs everywhere. They've got their blessed. It's a performance. It doesn't fit the performance. It's kind of what I'm trying to say. Like literally, I could draw an upside down cross in like stick figure drawing size, and that would like devastate me, like freak them out. They actually have done that, where I drew an upside down cross and they had the pastor come by to like sanitize the house, essentially, spiritually speaking. So my point is that know their system too, know their religious system too, know the Bible text that. Well, they're on my video somewhere, but ChatGPT can do it for you. There's literally Bible. I'll probably make a video on it at some point, but there's literally religious text that contradicts everything that they say. There's literally text that says everyone makes up their own mind, not up to you to interpret. The whole deal. Like literally, I've used this. I've literally whipped out like 4 different Bible verses through ChatGPT, and it stops some of them to track. But that's the thing. They erase, and at that point, I'm like, you know what? These people are not worth the effort. And that's what I said. I trashed everything to just, hey, you know what? Like, I talk, and I haven't gotten anything I actually wanted. So at this point, talking to you, just like talking to a MAGA person is useless, becomes dead weight. If it's not getting to you, if the most extreme scenarios are not getting to you, then talking to you is pointless. And therefore, if talking to people who are pointless, that's a waste of time. These people, even though they exist, they're not acknowledged. And that's the key thing here. Why I keep saying these people exist, but they don't exist in our mind. Like, they shouldn't be existing in our mind. Which is kind of ironic, because actually we are talking about it now. So they do exist in our mind, but at least we're aware of it. But it's simply the fact that they don't care about that. What they care about is like, oh, he's recording a video. Who's going to watch the video? They care about that. They don't care about being known so much. What they care about is like, this person is moving on. This person is finding a stranger YouTube audience more satisfying to connect with than connecting with people IRL. So that's the part that gets to them, the jealousy part, that they're not being given any attention. They don't give a fuck, why I'm doing this. What they care about is the insecurity. Oh, they're doing this to harm us. Words that they said in the recent past. You're trying to control me out of the blue. Out of the blue, they, like I say something, and it's kind of like, I say something logical and it makes emotional sense, and there's nothing to say back to that except you're trying to control us. That's it. Like, hey, feed me so I don't starve. Oh, you're trying to control us. Like one of those kind of scenarios. And that actually was the big deal, because, these people are people I've literally written on the walls and everything. I've started off with sticky notes, little pieces of paper. You watch my channel enough, you would probably notice that I've got multiple forms of communication: verbal, behavioral, gestures, placements of objects. I know the reason I know what this is because I do it myself too. I just decide not to do it in myself. So me putting the Roomba back there, it's not a statement of anything. It's literally saying a neutralization, but that's not how they're going to take it as. They're going to take it as, I don't even know. I don't even think like they do. I don't think like they do. I don't like getting into their train of thought because it's very skewed, fucked up thinking. I kind of have an, I know how to lie, but it's like I don't like lying. You know what I mean? I'd rather just give out the blunt truth. If instead of saying the lie, I'd be like, I don't like you, straight, fucking fact, reason, and move on. That's me. I say it as it is. I move on. So where are we going with this? Yeah, this is 40 minutes long now. Hopefully you guys watched my rant. So let's see. I guess I'm gonna make breakfast now. Avocados, because avocados are actually an easy food. You cut them up and you slice them, and that's really it. But yeah, stage right there. Let's watch this clip, but you're gonna see no one eats this. I'm sorry, not no one eats this. They will not eat this. They did not buy this for themselves. They bought this as, let's make sure that we look like we're doing our job. Look at how filled this pantry is. He is so lazy for not wanting to take these raw ingredients, spend all fucking day overnight soaking beans, eating exactly like us. What a lazy person. That's how they think. So I'm going to leave you with, I know what I'm going to eat. A protein bar. Because that's the easy food. Because that's what I do. I generally eat because I recognize the inefficiencies in this household and time, right? I value my time a lot. So to me, it's going to be pick the fucking protein bar over cooking an egg. Not necessarily because of the taste, but because of the convenience. I like the convenience of grab and go. And not necessarily grab and go, but I like the convenience of go. I don't actually like the grab and go. Like when I was a kid, those like Go-Gurt tube things, like the ones that you would freeze. If you're my age, you know what you're talking about. They would sell them at Costco. I don't know if they still do because I haven't been there in a while. They probably still do. But I didn't actually like those. I like the yogurt, but I didn't really like the idea of let me take frozen food and now it's like lukewarm. But I didn't really like the whole grab and go idea. I still don't. If I'm gonna grab and go, I'm going to go and then grab something on the way to wherever I'm going. So I don't grab and go. I go, grab, and keep going. But anyways, I'm still gonna eat it because it kind of fits that philosophy. Just go up to the room, grab the thing while you're going there. So that's what we're gonna do. Literally a gift that they destroyed from graduation. That used to be a graduation necklace from high school. And, the dude fucking destroyed it. I asked a little bit too, but the point is that it got to the point to where, I don't want this because it represents something, bad. And the dude literally took that thing and destroyed it instead. Literally, you've seen, I gotta upload these fucking videos, because if I get murdered one day, you're gonna be like, yeah, I see where all that came from. Because that's the fucking thing. They act polite. They do that. They pretend to be the good little churchgoer. They act polite and everything. But I was vaping one time. I even had the vents on. At this point, I mean, technically it's illegal to vape on the street, right? You do it, that's why you're supposed to do it at home. Smoke weed at home, not smoke weed at the streets. And they're like, oh, I'm gonna call the police, blah, blah, blah. You know, the whole deal. So, and then they have the whole thing like, oh, you're spending your life savings on weed, on $10, $15 vapes that last you like the entire month. So they're complaining about that. I don't know. They're fucked up. They're always ripping shit. They're always erasing shit, unless it's theirs. I write on the wall. They take it down. They erase it, or not even this. If I do that, because I have done that, what they do is that they start writing. Oh, look at this right here. Oh, look at this right here. Implant, right here. The burden of so literally that there is about a tooth implant, because literally what happened is, well, you got these people, right? A shitty ass environment. You learn quickly. Don't trust people like the parents, and that translates into like your dentist is being a shitty ass dentist. You know, the guilt tripping type dentist, one of those type of dentists. You know what I'm talking about. Ignore them. You know, just like I ignore these people and avoid them, I did the same thing with dentists. I'll show you my toothbrush. So, you know, toothbrush, not really in the best condition. So you kind of get what I mean. And that's kind of the irony here, because that's kind of I don't even have a functioning water pick. And so, and that's what I mean. They do the money fixes. And I said, and anyways, this is right here, that thing right there, because I've been like, I need the cash equivalent of this implant so I can go get an implant. I was even like very specific. You know, like this missing tooth is costing me speech problems, eating problems. So, you know, now we're starting to get a little bit onto the identity side of why an implant is needed, right? Because actually it sounds a little bit different. Because like when I first got the tooth removed, I'm like, I sound like a hillbilly. I still feel like a hillbilly a little bit, but I actually speak in a much different kind of way. And right there specifically, right there it says, no cash. So here's how fucked up this. I mean, actually, what I did is, it's right here. It's written. It is written. So that's how they talk. They talk all biblically and shit. Literally, what this paper is saying and implies is, if I write something down, then it becomes a thing. And that's why it annoys them so much. They have this really, really weird thing, really weird belief that like if you write something down, it's like a spell. Like it's like when I watch a movie or TV show, I mean it's what right? And these people really take it as, oh, it's a spell. So that's what they do. They write shit down. I already scribbled my name out because I'm not gonna show my name on here on purpose, but. Let's go back to the tooth implant. So literally last minute or so, I need an actual implant for an actual reason. Very clear how it's emotionally frustrating, right? And so I've been very clear, I want the implant. And right here, she's like, oh, return my shit, blah, blah, blah. Because she literally had this giant ass banner that said, blah, 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 Jehovah house, whatever. It literally says everyone in the house belongs to this religion. That's what that is about. You know, that definitely struck me bad. But right here it's saying, it's so crazy. Look, right here it says, giving my shit back, essentially. Stop writing shit on the wall. Give me proof of your need. That's what it is. It's saying stop writing shit on the wall, but it never asks, why are you writing shit on the wall? That's the key thing. They literally, Sharpie, have painted over it. They paint over it with primer and paint. Like a 100% type job. And they ignore the message. And they put their own fucking message. So right here, no cash. So that's the same thing. But right here, it's just so fucked up. Oh my God. Like, declaring that this person is free. They're saying I am not free. And that's the fucking irony. They see me as a jailed, not free person when they're the fucking prison guards. It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up. They're abusing me in a spiritual sense, and they're right here saying, free them. Free them. Oh my God, it's just so fucked up. Like, you guys cannot believe how calm I sound right now. Like, I've had way worse thoughts. This is why what we call reactive abuse. A lot of times you'll get people in this household who are abusive, and the rage has to go somewhere. And that's what is actually considered reactive abuse. Because that's what this is here. This is the abuse right here. Because I've been very clear that, and that's the irony. The irony is that this person is like, stop writing on my walls. They're literally writing on the walls. It's the same deal. The only difference is that mine's permanent and theirs is right there. But they never ask why you make it permanent. They just erase it. So that's what we should do too. So I actually ended up removing my name because I've been very clear, don't use my name. Don't use my name. It's an identity thing. And seeing that they use my name as in a form that like we have control over him, that completely merits me erasing my own name. This is really bad. Right there, I am justified with your blood. So essentially that line right there says everything. It's saying everything I do, it's justified through their blood in their name. So they already know they're doing, and that's what I mean. That's where it gets really fucking sketchy. What is fucking drunk Pete doing right now in the White House? He's like, oh, we have God's blah, 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 right and will to go destroy the Iranians. That's exactly how they fucking talk. And that's how it starts here. It starts off with justified using with your blood, I am cleaned of your sacrifice. Okay, why the fuck? You know what I mean? We're talking about human sacrifices here and justification. Literally, the words we're justified to act a certain way because of sacrifice. Justification and using sacrifices to justify the bad deed. That's literally what they're saying. They're literally saying, you died and resurrected, therefore we're justified to do whatever it is. I mean, I could read the rest of the thing, but right there, it's pretty much talking about, I mean, you know what I mean? You don't feel guilty out of nowhere. They know they're doing shit, and they're using religion to cover that up. So that's what this is, right there. So anyways, oh my God, it's just so fucked up, damn. So anyways, I've been very clear about not using my name because they're using my name in a very negative, derogatory manner. They even use my, I already talked about the pet name. Here's how far they take it. They weaponize mental health. They say that I'm the one in the crisis when the reality is when I ignore them, they go into meltdown crisis mode. Not even ignore them. When I focus on myself, they perceive it as ignoring them. But honestly, let's put that word back. I do have to ignore them. When you have them doing their religious thing, talking in tongues, being very loud, you don't actually do your own thing. You kind of end up having to ignore them, and then you do your own thing. And that's kind of what I mean. I shouldn't be focused on ignoring them. I should be focused on doing my own thing. But did you notice that slip of tongue, how it instantly went to ignore rather than, and that's what I mean. That's the whole internalization. That's why you need to talk it out, should talk it out. YouTube audience, anonymous, that's really honestly the best way to go, honestly, for most of you, because therapy is expensive. Therapy, it's someone else's opinion. You could be manipulated too if but anyways, that's a whole different scenario. I don't think therapy actually works entirely as it's designed for everyone, especially if you're very self-aware. So yeah, let's see. We're going up to our room now, but it's just like, do you see? And that's what I mean. You see how like these unwanted thoughts, they just follow. They just follow. Because they already know this. They know where I live. They know what I do. They know I hang out here all day. They know my room is literally, a few steps away. They know that I like to pace. I like to do the walk, right? I like to go to the prettiest view in the house, right? They know I like this routine. They put their shit there. They put their shit there. It used to be there, but like, you see what I mean? It's like that's what I mean. It's trying to trap you, and you gotta talk about it. Because if I'm talking about it, it's because I still notice it, and that's the thing. You talk about it, you notice it. So it sounds like I'm actually talking to myself in a sense. I don't even know how I do this. I don't know. If you guys start talking, you guys will probably figure out that you probably do it as well. Yeah, talk it out to yourself. Because the key thing is you're not talking it out to your audience on YouTube. It's easier to talk to yourself in a sense if you think people are kind of watching it too. Because it's kind of like body doubling. I don't know if you guys know the term, kind of where you kind of have a person in the room with you. And it's actually been proven that if you got a person in the room with you and you're doing something really boring, like paperwork, right, or your homework, or I don't know, something you don't really like, that the body doubling, just having another person trust, and the key thing is trusted, right? A trusted person there, kind of like, essentially, it's like someone's got your back, right? Essentially, like, oh, you're starting to distract yourself. Oh, you want a snack, or it's not even that far. Literally, you could have a person reading next to you that you trust, and that would be secure enough as a body double to kind of get yourself going. So that's kind of what I treat this YouTube thing as, right? Anonymous strangers, you guys want to clap back, you guys get shut down right away. That's how it's gone for a few of you. So fortunately, I haven't had clap back comments recently, but yeah. So for me, the YouTube audience, easy to handle. They don't really know you personally, well, IRL. So that's a different thing. You have the option of blocking people on YouTube. You have the option of deleting your YouTube account too. So the YouTube thing is actually a very good step, I think, because you guys dox me, I delete it, new account, you start over again. And if you do it, then I know who you are, and it goes. You can always tell. Doxing works in both ways. It works both ways from a law enforcement standpoint. They have ways to track your IP. They have whatever, but that's its own little topic. Let's see, what was I talking about? Going to the room to play games. Laundry. I need more clothing because I keep doing I do laundry too frequent now. The clothing I have isn't actually clothing I like. This is actually what I picked up, the Gap clothing. I wouldn't buy it again because apparently, they're connected to the whole Palestine thing. But, I have the clothing already, and, I would like to buy other types of clothing. Not necessarily for that same reason, but literally the fact that, I need winter clothing. I like wool. I like cashmere. I know it's pricey or whatever, but that's what I like. Sensory issues. Literally only have one or two good jackets or whatever. But that's what I need. I need clothing. And I don't even buy clothing frequently. Shoes. This one here, the letters are starting to wear out. They're already worn out. These sandals will probably be good for another, I'm not even kidding you, another month or so. Before I would be I need to the thing is that these are Birkenstocks. You can literally get these repaired and whatever, instead of buying the whole shoe. So instead of spending $140 something dollars or 120 or 40 or whatever they're at, I literally send these down to Otay Mesa, literally down, not literally down the street, but like, I don't know, like a 45-minute drive south here in San Diego. So, it's very local. So, the company gets the shipments of sandals, and they literally will replace the sole, and they will recondition the cork. So, and clean the leather, and so essentially you're getting your shoes refurbished again for a much cheaper price. Good for your wallet, right? Good for the environment, because we're reusing. We should reuse as much as possible. But to do that, I need a second pair, and I already have them right there. I already have the sandals ready to go. It's cash needed, just basicness. So these people, and that's the thing. They ended up buying, instead of buying, not buying, but giving me the cash so I can recondition my sandals. I don't even have to, and that's the thing. There is no actual legitimate reason I should be sharing my plans, even fucking how I walk. Think about this. That's what they want. They want to be like, oh, prove that you need the money. That's what they're all about. They're not really, it's not about cash. It's about intrusion. Them wanting access to the mind. That's what they're all about. They want access to the mind so they can manipulate me into their cult. Because this is what it is. This is not a religion, it's a cult. That's the truth. And the fact is that the cult right now is in the government system. That's why MAGA is actually a cult, and why they're kind of hard to exterminate out of the government scene. So that's what they are. They want to control. The cash is there. Trust me, the government has the cash. What they want is information. Why do you think they're doing the whole Palantir thing and trying to figure out, they know people don't want to tell them shit because, they're not trusted for obvious reasons. So they're trying to sidestep and trying to go around it. So it would be akin to your parental unit, searching your internet history, essentially, when you were a kid. Or if you're a millennial, you search, your kid doesn't know that you know how to search. You know what I mean? If you're a millennial parent, you've got a strong upper hand on your child right now, right? On the computer. I mean, in the old-fashioned sense, that we know how to do this stuff the manual, slow way, and the kids don't really know how to do that nowadays. That's what I mean. But the kids are better at the modern stuff. It should be, and I'm glad. Don't punishment. They should be rewarded instead for being better than us at certain things. Yeah, let's just play games. Now it's like an hour long.